The new normal. In this video, Simon Sinek talks about there is uncertainty all around us.
All times are filled with immense uncertainty. There's never been a time in history ever that ever had certainty, ever. And so I find it funny when people say during these uncertain times. Nothing, like all time is uncertain. And so the question is how does one enjoy uncertain times? And what questions do you raise? And so I think asking questions like, what good will come from this decision? Or how long will this decision last? These are the things that I think are important, which is, are we prepared for the definite uncertainty? Do we have insurance? Do we have savings? Are we taking care of our people? Are we taking care of our families? Are we taking care of our community? You cannot judge the quality of a crew by how a ship performs in calm waters. You can only judge the quality of a crew by how a ship performs in rough waters. In fact, very often we actually don't know the strength of a team or a family or a community until there are rough waters. We actually don't know how good our culture is until we face a crisis. And so the question is, are you laying a foundation that is more likely to produce a team or a group of people or a community that will come together rather than abandon and save themselves? And so asking yourselves this question, going with the complete understanding that all time is uncertain and how do we guard for the future? The best companies save money. The best companies in the good times don't distribute all the money away for bonuses, but they save a lot so that when those hard times come, they're flush with cash to take care of people to manage through the hard times. The problem with that concept is it has the word back in it. There's no going backwards ever. And life, politics, culture, technology, tastes change with time. They evolve. And especially things like a pandemic, like a global pandemic, of course they're going to change who we are. The people who went into the Second World War were not the people who came out of the Second World War, and there was no going back. And we're the same. What I'm fascinated by is how it'll affect young people. I think for older people, we'll go back into some of our old habits, even though new ones may have been formed. But if you think about it, kids who grew up during the Depression or during the war, for example, many of our grandparents or parents, who lived through those times, for the rest of their lives, they were frugal and miserly. Well, there's nothing wrong with them. It's because they lived through the Depression. They lived through so they saved they continue to save every jam jar and reuse every piece of tinfoil, and it's the same. Like, I'm fascinated by kids who went through the pandemic during these formative years, 10, 11, 12, 13, what strange habits they will cling onto for the rest of their lives. There's no way to know, and for the next 10 or 20 years, that their grandkids will make fun of them for something that they do that was formed now. There is liability associated with, that kids who are supposed to be social who weren't social, will they be more shy? Will they be more afraid? I mean, we've seen this happen with kids who are just, who have their heads down on their phones and become addicted to technology. That, I know somebody who, they're teenagers afraid of answering the front door because there might be a stranger there, So who knows? And I think we have to be aware of it so that we can compensate as best we can for the socialization. But there might be new skills. Perhaps they'll be better at reading someone's emotions just from their eyes because they haven't had the benefit of their mouth, and their expressions. So who knows what they may become way more sophisticated and better at making eye contact.
Simon Sinek is a well-known author and motivational speaker who has gained notoriety for his insights into human behavior and leadership. Sinek recently gave a speech titled The New Normal, in which he discussed the changes that have occurred in the globe over the last few years and how we can adjust to them. The discussion begins by recognizing that the world has undergone some important changes recently, We have had a lot of disruption in our life from the COVID-19 pandemic to social and political unrest. Sinek contends that these shifts may also present chances for development and evolution. According to Sinek, the opportunity to rethink and reimagine the world we live in exists within the new normal, rather than return to the old ways of doing things. He contends that the best place to start is by adopting a more upbeat and hopeful outlook on the future. We ought to concentrate on what we can gain rather than what we have lost. The value of interpersonal connections is one of the Sinek's main topics. He contends that we have lost sight of real human interaction in favor of technology and convenience. Sinek suggests that in order to create a better future, we need to give connections and community a higher priority. The importance of empathy and compassion in our dealings with others is another topic Sinek covers. The pandemic, according to him, has increased our awareness of our interconnectedness and the value of watching out for one another. By adopting empathy and compassion, we may forge deeper bonds and forge a society that is more resilient. The significance of meaning and purpose in our life is a further focus of Sinek's speech. He contends that the pandemic has made many of us realizes our priority and consider what is truly important. Sinek exhorts us to concentrate on our individual ideals and discover ways to live in accordance with them. Finally, Sinek discusses how leadership may help create the new normal. He contends that for innovation and advancement to occur, leaders must be prepared to accept uncertainty and take calculated risks. He also highlights the necessity of leaders listening to others around them and giving them authority, as well as the value of humility and vulnerability in leadership. In conclusion, Simon Sinek's speech on the new normal exhorts us to welcome change and look for chances for development. He places a strong emphasis on the value of leadership, purpose, and human connection in influencing the future. We may improve the world for ourselves and those around us by adopting a more upbeat and happy outlook. There is uncertainty all around us. When it occurs, we need to reflect on our strategy for solving both old and new challenges and ask the correct questions. The new normal describes the adjustments made to society and daily life as a result of the COVID-19 epidemic. New health and safety regulations, remote work and learning, and a greater reliance on technology for communication and commerce are just a few of these things. The term new normal refers to a state in which these alterations are expected to persist after the epidemic has passed. It also suggests that in order to keep living our lives safely and effectively, we must adapt to these changes. Hope you liked the video. Thanks for watching. For more videos, like these and please subscribe.